teach you how to shoot an interview.
Remember that an interview is an essential element of video and television production, and it constitutes an essential way to create content. The first step involved in preparing for the interview is contacting and making arrangements with the guest. After this, you should choose and set up a good location and prepare the necessary equipment.
Now that you know what an interview is, you're ready to learn some basic rules.
First, you should keep in mind the rule of thirds. Basically, it consists on breaking the screen into horizontal and two vertical lines. This would look like an imaginary tic-tac-toe on your screen.
What you would basically do is locate your most important objects and where these imaginary lines intersect.
You would position the guest's eyes on the upper horizontal line. That will help you on getting a good amount of headroom. Never position the guest at the center of the screen. You also need to make sure to avoid the guest looking to the wrong direction of the screen, as in this shot for example.
Another important rule to remember is the 180-degree rule. This states that two characters in a scene should always have the same left-to-right relationship to each other.
If you don't follow or you break the 180-degree rule intentionally, this would disorient the viewer and make the scene look weird. For example, let's say you start your interview with the camera position on the right side of the 180 line. When you break the 180 line and set up the camera on the other side, a person who was originally facing left in a scene, it is all of a sudden facing right. To avoid this, just draw an imaginary 180-degree line on your set and remember to always keep the camera in the same side of that line during the whole interview. Then both persons will be facing each other. So keep in mind to avoid several profile shots and always show the viewer the two eyes of the person being interviewed. Common shots used for an interview are mid shots, medium close-up shots, and wide shots, which are used for basic information delivery. Extreme close-ups are used for emotional reactions. When shooting the interview, make sure you leave enough room in the shoot for the name and the title of the person being interviewed. Now let's talk about jump cuts.
A jump cut happens when you cut between two different shots of the same subject with the same framing, but slightly different.
Let's say that during the interview, the guest's cell phones ring. Because you do not want to see this to the public, you cut this part while editing and start the video again once it's over. To avoid jump cuts, it is good to shoot by cutting between close and wide shots, so that when editing, the flow can look natural. Also, you can avoid jump cuts by using B-roll. B-rolls are supplemental or backup footage inserted as a cutaway that help you tell a story.
You set up B-roll by including shots in between the interview, and it does not include the sound so that it can match up with the voice of the person being interviewed. B-rolls are commonly used for depicting scenes related to what the person is talking about.
Other ways to avoid jump cuts are to shoot the interviewer once the interview is over, just doing nodding gestures or going through all the questions again.
Once you're familiar with the basic framing requirements for interviews, here are a few more composition tips.
First, set the interview in an appropriate location. If you're outside, you could use an identifiable building or landmark. If you're inside, you could use photos or logos.
Second, lighting can help set up the mood. For example, soft low temperature light for an intimate feel or harsh light for a confrontational approach. Also, remember to check the background and see if there's nothing distracting from the person who is speaking. As for example, an object that appears to be growing out of the guest's head. It is very important to make sure the guest's eyes are at the level with the interviewers. Any difference may give an unwanted message, such as dominant or a submissive appearance.
These were some basic tips on how to prepare and shoot an interview.
We hope this has been instructional for you.